Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Magic Body. Today we are going to talk about wearing heels and how to wear heels in a way that isn't so damaging to the foot. So in general, I don't think wearing heels is a good idea. But of course, I love wearing heels on a special night out or special occasions. I think it's so fun to wear heels. In fact, I do a performance act where we're oracles at parties and events, and a lot of times I'll wear these, right? These are crazy shoes, and I'll spend hours in these shoes. So they're actually surprisingly comfortable. So I am not saying don't wear heels, but if you're, a professional and you're wearing heels to work every day, I would encourage you to consider an alternative and wear flat shoes as much as you can and save your heels for special occasions. So there's a couple reasons for this. The first thing is understand what heels do to the way that we walk. See, normally when we take a step, the weight is coming down and it's transferring through our ankle, and then there's this complex, beautiful choreography of how the weight is transferred through the foot. I mean, it's a complicated thing that I'll talk about one day. But it's a beautiful choreography for how the foot is designed to manage the weight. And the heels just completely destroy that mechanism of the foot. And what happens instead is the weight's coming down and then it all gets jammed in the metatarsal, that area of padding before your toes. So you're walking and it's just like jamming all this weight down into the metatarsal with every step. And that's really hard on the bones. And, I think bunions a lot of times, I'm not a scientist about bunions, but I can only imagine that women who've worn heels or people who've worn heels most of their lives, all that weight is coming down and jamming at those bones. So no wonder the bones get off, and especially when they're wearing shoes that go into a point. So yeah, you can really avoid that. You can avoid bunions easily by wearing flat-footed shoes that allow for movement in your toes. And they don't have to be ugly. I do not wear sneakers. I wear boots and I wear loafers. I wear nice shoes. But all of those shoes are shoes that allow the mechanism of my foot to work properly, and they allow space for my toes to move around. They're not jamming my toes together. So that's something to think about when you are buying heels, is just deciding, do you want to disrupt the natural design of your foot for the elevation of the heels? So another thing to think about when you're buying heels is, what are you aiming for? So a lot of times we buy heels so that we look more elevated and more beautiful, or we feel more elegant, or we feel more graceful, or whatever it is that we're aiming for. But what happens is a lot of times the heels make it so difficult to walk that I see people wearing heels and they look way less graceful, way less elegant, and they don't look elevated because their body is gripping so much in an effort to walk in these impossible shoes. So, if you are moving way less gracefully because you're wearing heels, just think about, is that what you're going for? Is that the kind of, in a sense, it's almost disempowering, right? Because you're compromising your connection to the ground in an effort for something. So just decide if that's worth it, and that you can find heels that won't necessarily do that. So I have worn these heels. I've had these for over 10 years, and I need to get them fixed, but they're amazing. And those are my go-to heels. And when I'm wearing those heels, I can walk just as powerfully, just as gracefully, and I feel elegant, I feel uplifted, I feel beautiful in those heels. So find heels that make you feel good according to how you're moving, not just according to how they look, but how you're moving. And if you're moving in a way that you feel good, then great, get those heels. But if you're moving in a way, I was getting off the subway the other day And there was this woman wearing heels, and with every single step, she would step and then her ankle would wobble, wobble, wobble. Step, wobble, wobble, wobble. Step, wobble, wobble, wobble. Step, wobble, wobble, wobble. Right? Every single step. I mean, she looked like that. And this pair of shoes, whenever I wear this, I mean, I don't wear them, right? Because I don't know what it is about them, but I have no stability, and I just wouldn't be willing to wear that. So, you know, really just think about if the heels are helping you feel better and move with more power or whatever it is you're going for or not. So consider that when you're buying that. And then the third thing is I want you to, if you do wear heels, I want you to commit to self-care of your foot. So I think all you need to do for self-care of your feet is you can roll out your feet with a tennis ball. So this is my busted tennis ball. But what you do is you just put a tennis ball under your foot and you put your weight on it. You step onto it and use your intuition, right? It's not going to hurt you. So just move the tennis ball around wherever you feel needs to be massaged, especially in your metatarsal, because what that's going to do is it's going to start breaking down some extra tissues that may have come about because of the impact of the heels. And you know, after I wear heels, the next day I absolutely take the time to massage my feet with a tennis ball. That's very important. And after you spend some time with the tennis ball, your whole metatarsal will just release open. It's fabulous. So just get a tennis ball, and you know, you don't have to, it doesn't take too long, but just as you're doing something, like I do this, I'll stand and work on my computer at my counter and be massaging my foot with the tennis ball. Or, you know, if I'm folding laundry or whatever I'm doing, I'll just have the tennis ball under my foot and I'll roll it around. And again, use your intuition. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Just let the tennis ball, put your weight onto the tennis ball and let it massage the bottom of your foot. And the other thing that's really important to do, if you're wearing heels on a regular basis, soak your feet. And, you know, I soak my feet about twice a month. But if I was wearing heels more often, I would soak my feet more. And when you soak your feet, you know, you get a tub and you can put some Epsom salts in there. And I like to put essential oils. And then I spend over an hour soaking my feet. So it will be a couple rounds where I'll get up and I'll go boil. I usually boil 2 rounds of water. You know, and bring the hot water over with regular temperature water and find the right balance. And just soaking your feet is a way that you can really just take care of your feet, especially if you're going to wear heels a lot. So these are my tips to you if you're wearing heels. One, you know, to just consider, try to find shoes that the way that you move in them, you feel good and you look elegant, right? And just understanding the way that you are really, you are denying your foot its natural coordination, right? So just understanding that that's a choice you're making. But then wearing heels where you can move in an elegant, empowered way, and then committing to self-care of your feet. Committing to massaging them with a tennis ball is one of the best things you can do, and soaking your feet. And soaking your feet can be lovely. You can light some candles, have a glass of wine, and put your feet into nice hot water. So, and one last thing. When I buy heels, I try to buy heels that I can run in. So that's another thing you can think about, because I don't ever want to wear shoes that I can't run in. Of course, that can't happen all the time, but it's just something to think about. Okay, thank you.